How did Mummy play today?
Awesome.
Thank you for that.
Well, this year marks the 10-year anniversary of Victoria Azarenka's very first Grand Slam trophy, and she lifted it here in Melbourne. Chanda Rubin, I feel like what we're seeing here is vintage Vicka.
Okay, guys, I love the shades. You are really channeling that little Leo energy. I love the chillax mood. We got to keep that going through the rest of the tournament.
It's very blue steel.
Okay, Mark, you can let go of the deadpan. I can't get a smile out of it. It's okay, it's all right. That's how Victoria Azarenka is making her opponents feel, and she has been absolutely phenomenal through the first 3 rounds of this event. She's a player that knows her way around these courts at the Australian Open, and she is quietly moving under the radar. A couple of things that have made her game so difficult to defend against is the returns and her serving, the intensity she is bringing. But I want to start by taking a look at her returns. Now, she is one of the more aggressive returners in the women's game. She gets a lot of free points by putting opponents under pressure, and so often it's because she is inside the baseline almost 100% of the time. 1 meter to 1.5 meters inside. That's about 3 to 5 feet on average. That is taking a lot of ground away from servers who don't have as much time to react to her returns. And when you look at where she is returning the balls to, where her second serve return placement is, it is very often, 88% of the time, in the lower 2 quadrants behind the service line. That means that she's getting good depth. But when you look at where these balls are placed, it's also a very safe return. So the fact that she's standing so far in adds weight to her shot, but she's not adding risk. And 92% of the time, she is making returns. That is an incredibly high number. Now, when we move to the Victoria Azarenka serve, she's not necessarily known as the biggest server, but she is an effective server. And one of her favorite serves is the serve out to the forehand side. 66% of the time in the deuce court, 68% of the time in the ad court, she's going to the forehand. That allows her to open up the court, and it gives her opportunities to take over the middle of the court. Very often, her opponents are returning back up the middle, back cross court, or even from the ad side. That ball has to come usually back to the forehand court up the line. It's very difficult to hit these shots as a line drive down the line for a returner. So this allows Azarenka to control the middle of the court, and it sets up her aggressive play behind her serve. Now, when you look at this next slide that shows the effectiveness of her serving, 69% of the time on the deuce side, she's winning those points, 73% of the time on the ad side, and that is a very high number. But another effect of all those serves to the forehand is that it opens up the serve to the backhand side, and that was really effective in her match against Alina Svitolina. Often she gets opponents leaning to that forehand side, creates just a little bit more space to the backhand, and it makes that serve effective where she can get free points, she can get misses, and it just makes her service game so much more demanding on opponents to try to come from under. 77% of the time she's winning points behind her first serve. Now let's look at how well Victoria Azarenka plays under pressure. She's one of the best pressure players in the game, and it's because on serve, she saves a lot of break points, 13 of 14. She's only lost 1 service game through 3 matches, and on returns, converting 14 of 17 on breakpoint opportunities and winning an incredible 14 of 22 return games. She's one of the best in the tournament. And another tidbit I love is when Azarenka has break points or she's facing break points on her serve, she is elevating the speed of her forehand on average about 8 kilometers per hour faster than her average forehands. That is a player who knows her way around a tennis court under pressure, and it is why she has been so effective, only losing 9 games through her first 3 matches. She's a player to watch.